Good morning, CoreTv News on the hour. I'm Tolu Ojewumi. The Adamawa State House of Assembly has impeached Governor Murtala Nyako. The development follows the receipt of the report of the seven-man investigative panel set up by former acting chief judge of the state, Ambrose Mamadi, to investigate allegations of gross misconduct against him and his deputy, Bala Ngelari. Against this backdrop, Ngelari, who is a member of the PDP, has resigned his position as deputy governor of the state. The drama that culminated in the impeachment of Nyako had for weeks attracted attention to the state as the old PDP member House of Assembly made ceaseless efforts to serve him notice of impeachment before the constitution of the seven-man probe panel. Meanwhile, Speaker of the Adamawa State House of Assembly, Hamadu Umaru, has been sworn in as acting governor for the next 3 months. This followed the sacking of former Governor Murtala Nyako, who was indicted for gross financial misconduct. The acting governor was sworn in by the acting chief judge of the state, Ambrose Mamadi, at a ceremony that took place at the Executive Council chamber of the Government House. In his inaugural speech, the acting governor saluted the courage of the state legislators and urged residents to refrain from acts capable of breaching public peace. Umar first ruled the state for 2 weeks in acting capacity in January 2012 when the Supreme Court sacked Nyako.
The task before this government is enormous given the level of decay Adamawa State has witnessed in the past several years. It is regrettable that the shameless plundering of the state by the so-called leaders was far greater in scale than the destruction unleashed on the region by insurgents.
And almost as soon as news about Nyako's impeachment filtered out, his private residence in Abuja has been witnessing a lot of movements. His aides confirmed that they had been receiving visitors but would not comment on their mission. Policemen who were visible outside the Asokoro home of the impeached governor also disappeared soon after the impeachment was announced. It is not clear whether Nyako is inside their High Ward residence, but this is where he had been holed up since the impeachment saga began. Now, suspected co-mastermind of the Nyanya bombing has been extradited to Nigeria from Sudan. British-born Aminu Oguche was flown into the country in a presidential jet and accompanied by Nigerian members of Interpol. The bomb suspect looked subdued as he walked down the plane between two operatives with his hands cuffed. Oguche, who was previously in the Nigerian army, fled to Sudan shortly after the bomb attack on a bus terminal in April, but was arrested within days. Nigerian authorities are glad that the terror suspect is now back to answer for his alleged crimes.
This is also evidence that the armed forces of Nigeria and security services and all agencies are working hard to put this thing behind us as a nation. So therefore, it is time for all of us to come together, stand with our people, stand with our government, stand with our armed forces and the security services so that we can build a peaceful, united, progressive and prosperous country once again.
Police detectives have arrested a suspected senior member of Boko Haram while fleeing counterinsurgency operation at Bamboo Forest in Bauchi State. Police spokesman Frank Mba said in a statement that 30-year-old Mohammed Zakari is the self-styled chief butcher at the insurgent camp in the forest. He is said to be responsible for the recent slaughter of 7 people, including women and children. Mba added that preliminary investigation revealed that the suspect was trained in the art of insurgency at Gombe Forest by a fleeing insurgent, Juan Abatuara, before he moved to Bamboo Forest about 3 months ago. The police say he actively participated in the April attack against customs officers at Kari Town along Meduguri Road in Bauchi State. Chairman of Amu Ward of a local government area of Lagos, Ayodele Adewale, has issued a Save Our Soul message to the Lagos State government on the activities of a group known as Vigilante Vanguard. This is coming against what the community describes as several attacks on its residents by the group. Rashidat Balogun visited the community. She brought back this report presented from our studios.
While issuing the Save Our Soul plea to the Lagos state government, Ayodele Adewale says the vigilante vanguard has launched several unprovoked attacks on people within the council. He called on the state governor to come to the aid of the people and save their lives and property.
I have written to the CP, I have written to the AIG, I have written to the IG, and I have written to the Police Service Commission. I have written letters to the governor, I have written to the House of Assembly, I have also notified the SSS.
Jola Ogunlusi, Chairman Community Development Committee, Amuwa Odofin Local Government, says the police have not been cooperative, calling for a change to ensure peace and sanity for residents.
So I hope the authority, up to the president, will know that things are not well here. The FHA will come into it, and the Minister of Employment should know this, that things are not well here, and it should come to our assistance.
Some victims of the latest attack say the attackers swooped on them as they made to plant trees at a designated spot in compliance with the Lagos state government's Clean to Green campaign.
On the bike, so I just saw a lot of guys flinging bottles with gunshots all over everywhere, and now they stopped everybody. I saw some people, about 100 people, 100 sort of boys with full weapons, guns, bottles, with all sort of weapons. And what is all this? I don't even know what really happened. What I just had on my head, flinging of bottles.
A lot of people coming out in a mat with different kind of, machetes, arms, charm, and different kind of everything like that coming to us. You can look at my face here. I was injured, if not because of the grace of God that I dodged a little bit, it will have punctured my eye.
Telltale signs of the attack is still there for all to see, but an attempt by CoreTv news crew to have an audience with members of the crew met a brick wall as the team had to beat a hasty retreat in the face of an impending attack.
Now, parents of the abducted Chibok girls on Tuesday failed to show up for a meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan. 5 of the girls who escaped from Boko Haram camp also did not keep their appointment with the president. This was in spite of earlier assurances they gave the Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai after her interaction with the president. Presidential aide Doyo Kupe told State House correspondents that the Bring Back All Girls movement sabotaged the appointment.
Malala was actually threatening that she will not leave unless they agree, or that even that if they do not agree, she will dissociate herself from Bring Back Our Girls.
This is an indication that there is a face-off between the federal government and the Bring Back Our Girls campaign.
It's not a face-off. It's not a face-off. It is a revelation of what we have always been saying, that there is more than meets the eye in this our local branch of Bring Back Our Girls. That the real it is actually some form of hypocrisy. That their real concern is to play politics, present the president in a bad way, for political reasons. They are not interested in dialogue, as you can see. These folks are interested in playing a political trump card. Everything is geared towards 2015. The whole idea is that Jonathan is unstoppable, and all you need to do is to find a way to wipe off enough sentiments to ensure that he does not present himself, or he cannot be presented for an election. Peter.
Members of the House of Representatives elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan for a second term in office. Speaker Aminu Tambuwa was, however, absent at the meeting that began at about 9 on Monday night at the presidential villa and ended before midnight. He was also not part of a strategy meeting of the PDP leaders that ended in the early hours of Tuesday morning. In the meantime, here is the report.
Members of the People's Democratic Party caucus in the House of Representatives arriving for a meeting with President Jonathan. They were led to the meeting by Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha in the absence of Speaker Tambuwa. State governors elected under the party's platform also turned up for a separate session. But the lawmakers were the first to be hosted by Jonathan, with Vice President Namadi Sambo and Party Chairman Adamu Muazu also in attendance. At the end, House Leader gave an insight into the closed session.
The purpose of today's meeting was to continue to deliberate on issues affecting our party, but the House caucus on our own decided to pass a vote of confidence on Mr. President and also to endorse him for a second term in office.
Can you let us into the President's response? What was it like? We're not there. Has he accepted?
No, we did an endorsement and we're urging him to run for a second tenure in office.
One will wonder why Mr. Speaker was absent at this crucial meeting.
I'm sure when you see Mr. Speaker, you will ask him that question. He's an individual, so this is a PDP meeting, and obviously if you ask him, he'll be able to tell you why he's not here today.
Shortly after, President Jonathan and other party leaders met with governors elected on the platform. Akwa Ibom State Governor described it as a strategy session ahead of 2015 elections.
We want to strategize on how we can best win the primaries and by implication also ensure that we bring out the best candidates, taking a cue from what has happened in Ekiti State, that if we are able to do proper internal democracy, how we bring out the most popular candidates, then the elections will be less rancorous, and of course PDP will sail through with a view to getting up to 2/3 of the states of the Federation.
He also spoke on the lawmakers' endorsement of President Jonathan.
We are still waiting for INEC guidelines, so Mr. President did not give anybody any answer. He did not say, I will contest, I will not contest. He thanked them for the interest and for the confidence reposed in him. So I think from his body language, he's very mindful of the law, and they need to wait for guidelines from INEC. That was what I noticed. Otherwise,
for now, President Jonathan has not declared his intention to seek re-election, but it's becoming increasingly clear that it will be sooner than later before he makes his intention known.
Now, Washington is calling on Arab nations to push Hamas to accept a ceasefire. Details at the moment. Stay with us.
CoreTv News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Now moving on, United States Secretary of State John Kerry has warned of great risks of spiraling violence in Gaza and called on Arab nations to push Hamas to accept a ceasefire. Kerry says he has decided to cancel a planned trip to Egypt and return to Washington in order to give a Cairo-brokered ceasefire on Gaza time to work. He urged Arab nations to push the Islamist Hamas movement to accept the deal, which it has so far rejected despite approval from Israel's cabinet.
However, there are also very real gaps on other key issues. And what we are trying to do is find a way for Iran to have an exclusively peaceful nuclear program while giving the world all the assurances required to know that Iran is not seeking a nuclear weapon. What is happening there and in the potential of an even greater escalation of violence. We don't want to see that. Nobody does, nor does Israel. But Israel has a right to defend itself. And it is important for Hamas not to be provoking and purposefully trying to play politics in order to gain greater followers for its opposition and use the innocent lives of civilians whom they hide in buildings and use as shields and put in danger. We urge all parties to support this ceasefire, and we support And we ask all the members of the Arab community, as they did yesterday at the Arab League meeting in Cairo, to continue to press to try to get Hamas to do the right thing here, which is cease the violence, engage in a legitimate negotiation, and protect the lives of people that they seem all too willing to put to risk. Prepared. President Obama has said this again and again, to do everything in our power to help the parties come together, to work to create a climate for genuine negotiations, to be able to deal with the issues that truly separate these parties. And we stand prepared to do that. I am prepared to fly back to the region tomorrow if I had to, or the next day, or the next, in order to pursue the prospects if this doesn't work. But they deserve, the Egyptians deserve the time and the space to be able to try to make this initiative work, and we hope it.
That's all. Thanks for watching. I'm Tolu. Or Jeremy, good morning.